Everyone? It is your boy. It's my first review. Today I'm gonna be reviewing the Terminator franchise for you guys, and to let you guys know my personal thoughts on the entire franchise. This is basically me ranking all of the movies, all 6 of them, with Terminator Dark Fate coming out recently and whatnot. So, by the way, even though I don't have many of you subscribers, whoever is subscribed to me, let me know in the comments personally what you thought about the Terminator franchise. Alright? Like I said, this is my personal opinion. Okay, so whatever thoughts and concerns you guys have, I am all open to suggestions. But onward with the video. You all may call me Naatiki Uzumaki or Natiki Uzumaki. Yeah, I'm a Naruto fanboy. But anyway, coming in at last place, and I absolutely hate this movie, would be Terminator Dark Fate. And a lot of people hate this movie, and I am one of those that hate it. Okay? This movie absolutely, in my opinion, was just a complete copy of Terminator 1, 2, and a bit of Terminator 3. Okay? This was the movie that reintroduced Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor, and had Arnold coming back again to play older Terminator, kind of like how he was in Genesis. Okay? My issues with this movie, for one, I will say this. I did not like this plot. It had too many copies off of the older Terminator movies. Okay? Terminator Dark Fate, for one, it kills off one of its main characters that we all know, John Connor. Right at the beginning of the movie, the first 5 minutes, it says the beginning takes place months after Terminator 2, but in my personal opinion, it looks like it's the exact same day as Sarah Connor is wearing the same clothes. But anyway, while they're inside of a beach, relaxing, having a good time, a Terminator that Skynet sent comes through and blows John to hell. Okay? Here's my issue. They never really said that. They never explained as to how they sent back multiple Terminators back in Terminator 2. How is this happening? And mind you, didn't they destroy Skynet in Terminator 2? So how is this Terminator even functional? Shouldn't it, disappear or shut down? It doesn't make sense to me. And mind you, the entire plot replacing John Connor with female Danny Ramos. Not saying I have a problem with females. I don't. But I did not care for this character at all. Mind you, I'm going to be real. Most of the movie I was rooting for the Rev 9. I was like, please kill her. Please, please, please. And another thing, in this new future we got called Legion, why are they still calling it Terminators? Shouldn't it be called something else like Legionators if it's a new future? It doesn't make sense to me. And you had Arnold as an older Terminator, which I thought was pretty cool. And I know a lot of people only like this movie because of action sequences. I thought the action was pretty okay, but the story itself, garbage. Seriously. But that is the worst movie in my opinion. That comes in number 6. Coming in at number 5, we have Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. Now, this movie, a lot of people hate, and I hate it as well, but I rank this movie above Terminator Dark Fate because, for one, I'm not a fan of the story. You had Nick Stahl as John Connor, which I wasn't a fan of. I did not like his acting or his portrayal of John Connor. I did not like it, and like I said, it follows the same. It tries to do everything Terminator 2 did, but not as good at all. Completely a fail, a bombshell. But in other words, what I did like about this movie, that scene though, where it had Arnold's T-850 is what it's called, not 850, fighting against the TX. I thought that fight scene was pretty good. That scene was pretty good. Having two machines brawl it out. I thought that was good. And that's what I liked about this movie. But it had trashy, corny jokes like with Arnold's "talk to the hand." The heck was that? I was not a fan of that. I did not like the story either. Like I said, a complete copy of Terminator 2. The same thing over and over. And even with the TX, the villain of the story, it just completely acted like a robot 24/7. And this Terminator is supposed to be a better model than the T-1000 in Terminator 2. Not that great in my opinion. The actress that played her was pretty good, though I'll give her that much. But this movie is watchable, like a little bit more enjoyable than Dark Fate, but not as good, in my personal opinion, which is why I give it at number 5. Okay? Coming in at number 4, we have Terminator Genisys. My problem with this movie, one of the huge problems that I've had with this movie, and a lot of other people have it, is the crappy story, how it tries to basically be Terminator 1. It tries to remake Terminator 1 all over again. Not a fan of that. Okay? One of my biggest problems with this movie is the casting of Jai Courtney to play Kyle Reese. I absolutely hated this character as Kyle. I did not like him. Okay? He brought absolutely nothing to the table of an iconic character from the original Terminator series. I was not a fan of this, as Jai Courtney his personality in this movie hardly resembled Kyle Reese. Even with the jokes like, I thought I was supposed to be the hero and blah blah blah, like, what? And this movie is filled with so many plot holes and so many what ifs, like, who sent the Pops Terminator back in time? How is John Connor alive if Kyle and Sarah didn't, hook up? There's so many questions about this movie that I absolutely did not like and was not a fan of. It didn't make sense to me. But the only thing I did like about this movie, you had John Connor as a villain, and I thought the T-3000, the John Connor T-3000, I liked his look. I thought he looked pretty good as a Terminator, or a human Terminator, or whatever you guys want to call it. I thought he looked pretty decent, and a pretty interesting villain, but not that much. And another thing I did like, I liked the future scenes. Like when it shows Kyle Reese as a kid getting saved by John Connor, I thought that was dope. And even when you have an aging Terminator, you have an older Arnold Schwarzenegger as an older Terminator fighting off against a younger version of himself, a younger T-800. I liked that. And another thing I liked, which is why I ranked this movie above Dark Fate and Terminator 3, you got to see Sarah Connor talk to a younger Kyle Reese, a kid Kyle Reese. That's what I wanted to see in Dark Fate, but we did not get that. That was something really really good about this movie that I dug, and I can be entertained by that. That's why I ranked this movie higher, but still moving forward. Coming at number 3, we have Terminator Salvation. Some people didn't like this movie, some people do. In my personal opinion, this movie is the best sequel since Terminator 2 because, for one, it escapes the crappy template of sending somebody from the future back in time to protect somebody who's going to be important in the future. That's what I love about this movie, and it has original characters in it. It has John Connor, and it has my favorite character, Kyle Reese. It had Anton Yelchin portray Kyle. God rest his soul, because Anton Yelchin is no longer with us. I loved his acting in Star Trek, the Star Trek series. Yeah, may he rest in peace, because I feel he died too young. But bottom line, this movie absolutely, it almost felt like it could be a prequel, like to the Terminator franchise, because it takes place in the future war, and it was actually going to be a trilogy. It was going to give us what we wanted to see, what the war was like, how Kyle met John Connor. It was going to give us everything we wanted, but people hated it. And I liked this movie. And a lot of people complained about, this movie doesn't have any plasma rifles. Well, yeah, but it takes place in the earlier years of the war. So they wouldn't have had plasma rifles yet. Not yet. But anyway, You had Marcus Wright, played by Sam Worthington. I thought his portrayal as like a Terminator hybrid, a half human, half machine, pretty good. I like the Terminator hybrid. I thought that was good. Even the fight between him and the T-800 in the end, and he saves John Connor, that was good. I loved that. And even like another thing I love about this movie, it has Kyle Reese in it. And it focuses on a bit on him being important to the story and the future. Like he has no idea that he is John Connor's father. Like I loved that. That was a good. It's the perfect sequel since Terminator 2. It's not the best movie, but crap, it outweighs everything else that's come. Okay, before I get to number one and number two, I know a lot of people have debates over which one is better in their opinion, and I had to think about this too. Really, I had to. I really had to think about this. Because I know some people are going to bash me for what I'm about to say. Some people may agree with me. Regardless of whether you do or not. Look, I'm going to be real with you guys. It took me a while to come up with this. But coming in at number two, I have to put Terminator 2 Judgment Day. The reason why, now like I said, I'm not saying this movie is garbage in any kind of way. I love this movie. Everybody does. Who doesn't? Alright? And I know a lot of people have debates over which Terminator movie is better, Terminator 1 or Terminator 2. The reason why I rank Terminator 2 below Terminator 1, because in the movie, there's a deleted scene where Sarah Connor is inside of the mental asylum and she's like on the brink of ready to give up hope for herself. Like she doesn't know what to do with herself anymore. She's like, oh, my son doesn't even believe me. Like I've lost everything. But then Kyle Reese, yes, Michael Bihn's Kyle Reese, comes to her and he's like, Sarah, you can't give up. You're stronger than this. Remember the message. The future is not set. There is no fate but what we make for ourselves. I loved that. And the two get to be together for a little bit, but then Kyle disappears, and then it's like he's like a ghostly entrance to help Sarah get back on her feet, and she's chasing after him through the hall. That would have been a perfect scene to put into this movie, and I did not like the fact that it was not in the final cut. I feel like it should have been in the movie. If that scene was in this movie, I would have ranked Terminator 2 at number 1. Okay? I would have put it there. But the fact that it's not, I had to put it below Terminator 1 in my opinion. Okay? Well, like I said, you guys already know that Terminator 1 is in my number 1 pick. I love this movie. It's completely, one thing I loved about the first two Terminator films, they follow a little bit in the horror category. Like, they make the Terminators a little bit scary. That's one thing I loved, and that's one thing I feel like the other Terminator franchise, the other Terminator sequels don't follow. They don't give the movies enough horror, and that's what I like. The T-1000 was creepy, and that scene where the T-800 in Terminator 1 is, like, fixing himself, cutting out his eye, like, that was, like, amazing. And even in Terminator 1, where it's showing the future war scenes with Kyle Reese, and it's the dark and gritty futures, and it shows how the humans are suffering, how they have to survive off of eating rats, and like they have to hide from infiltration units. Absolutely beautiful, and that was amazing. That's why I ranked Terminator 1 above Terminator 2. And I know a lot of people are going to get at me for this, and some people like Terminator 2 better. Believe me, I love Terminator 2 as well, but I have to give Terminator 1 more points in my opinion. Okay? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Comment down below how you guys would rank the series. But yeah, this is Naotiki Uzumaki signing off.